Hey everyone, and welcome to Almost Cancelled. I am Peter, that is Connor, and we are going to talk about Dark. It's Season 1, Episode 2. It is called Lies. Full spoilers for the episode, as always. So we did episode 1 of this yesterday, and we're back, and we got mysteries, we got time travel, we got missing kids, and we got all the rest of it, so we're going to dive into episode 2. And there was actually a good chunk of this episode, I was actually, I was still thinking of crazy theories as we were going, as you do with something like this. And at one point, I thought, what if there's actually no time travel? What if, like, that room with the experiment with the kid? Like, what if the whole point is that the guy's trying to achieve time travel and he's like surrounding them with 80s stuff to try and like focus them?
Oh yeah, okay.
Right. Now, of course,
And
the
then,
end of
then
the
you get to the end
episode,
of the episode. Yeah,
completely obliterated that. But just I wanted to mention that I was thinking about that at one point. There was another
yeah.
thing that,
Especially when you see all the books of about time travel. It's
yeah.
like it's, wish fulfillment.
Because actually, the first thing I want to talk about is, so we have this new character who kind of appears here, the Stranger, as he's credited as, because we don't know who it is yet, which I think is important. More on that in a second. But we see him just kind of like coming through the woods, not out of the cave, because we actually see the culprit, if you will. There's a really nice shot of him coming out of the cave at one point, and he's green hood, looked really nice. But this Stranger, he's got stuff, he's got some bags with him, and he goes to the hotel that we were introduced to and goes in. And obviously, what's her name? Regina looks kind of worried at first because he looks a little bit sketchy, but he's just like, I just need a room, please. It's like, okay.
Yeah, and she can't afford to turn anyone away right now.
No, clearly not. No, she's in dire straits with the bank. So, but we come back to him later. And the episode kind of cuts between a lot of different things, so I'm just going to go tackle each character
Yeah,
roughly.
it's quite scattershot in that
Yeah.
sense.
It's because of a lot of characters. I feel like when you have
There
this
is,
many,
yeah.
that's just kind of how it goes. But we see that in his room, he's kind of, obviously he's kind of obsessed with what he's doing. He's got drawings and like diagrams up all over the place, some of which look very mathematical, some look like black holes, some look like, time travel-y things, basically, is what I'm going to say. He pulls out a device at one point, he's got a case that kind of opens into a time travel device? I don't know. It looks...
It's something.
It's something. I liked it as a prop though. I thought it looked good as a prop. It looked like it had weight to
Oh
it.
yeah,
It looked
agree
all
with
the
that.
bits looked heavy, and it felt like this wasn't just cheaply thrown together. They put money into this prop to make sure it looked.
Yeah, yeah, it looks good.
But no, so while it's like cutting around everything, we've got this stranger who clearly knows about something that's going on, and understands to an extent what's going on. When we get like a montage later on, everyone's like, "Oh, where's Mikkel? Where's Mikkel?" It cuts to him, and he's got this newspaper. And it was right before he did this. I want to say what I was thinking at this point, because at this point I was thinking, "This is Mikkel. He's been back to the past, and he's grown up, and this is him. Like he's been away from everyone, because obviously he's going to explain to them that he's their son from the future, kind of thing.
Yeah,
Like, so he's just been away, maybe grew up in foster care, whatever. But he's grown up, and he's trying to figure everything out. But now he's in his like 30s, 40s, whatever. He's not in his 40s, but he's
yeah.
in his 30s, and I was thinking, this is him. I've nailed this. I'm so right. The world can take me on. And then he writes on the newspaper, "When is Mikkel?" Meaning that he's clearly also trying to know where he's
Yeah,
went. And
which made me speculate more about the machine rather than actually
yeah,
being a time travel machine. Is it more a way of detecting
yeah,
that
maybe
time travel has happened
it's
and
it's
kind
a
of following the trail as to when?
yeah, it's a reading instrument, if you will.
Yeah,
Yeah. So clearly I mean, I had that thought, or maybe it's Mikkel growing up, and then immediately it became clear that he was also looking for when he went to. And
I think that's smart because they know that you're going
yeah,
to be thinking, oh, is this Mikhail? Anyone someone pops up here now, we're going to be going, oh, is this him? And they're very clear, going, okay, no, we know you were thinking that, so straight away, no.
yeah. He also does not know, and obviously if it was him, he would know exactly when he went to, because he went there, he grew
Yeah,
up, and obviously at the end of the episode we find out exactly where he went to, because we get to see it. A whole lot of questions that comes with that, but we don't get much more of this character. It's just kind of his presence is here. He knows something about what's going on. He's clearly been studying it for some time. You
yeah,
see that he's oh no, that wasn't him. That was the dad's map. The dead dad. I guess we'll jump over to him
yeah,
next.
sure.
Because we see Jonas is clearly, he's having nightmares. He's having nightmares of seeing his dead dad. Before he wakes up, because they do that whole fake out where it's like he wakes up and then it turns out he's still in a nightmare. Where he has like this, and at first I just thought it was blood, but then look at when I kept watching, it became clear it was actually just like a thick black liquid
Yeah,
coming
yeah,
out of
it's
his
like a
ear.
grease paint almost.
And there was I think we've seen clearly the ears and the eyes are a big thing with whatever this bad guy is doing. And we see the autopsy of this kid who they found in the woods, and they're like, oh yeah, his ears are completely messed up, his drums are blown, all of the, was it grain she called it, that lets us know our balance is off or on, like that's completely like in the wrong place.
And I'm wondering, obviously the eyes we're assuming is an effect of what we saw, the machine at the end of last episode. The ears, is it more of an impact of traveling through time? Because she told it's all about balance, and is it a literal balance is lost when you're out of time?
Almost just how when you fly in a plane, your ears pop just because of the height difference. Like, is this just a more extreme version of that, where if you go through time, your senses are just like, whoa, can't handle this.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it could be. But yeah, so he's just kind of moping around the house. He's very upset, clearly. I mean, this episode's a very depressing episode. Everyone's just kind of in pain because the kids went missing. But Jonas is, of course, upset still about his dad and stuff. And he goes up to his dad's workshop. He was an artist. And we recognise it from the first episode, and he just kind of lingers around. And I like that it cuts away and comes back, implying that he's been kind of just hanging out in there for a long time, because it didn't feel forced when he found the compartment.
Yeah, I feel like if he'd just rummaged around, it'd been straight away. It'd be like, okay, that was easy. Why has he never found this before?
But you get the sense that he was lying in there for a few hours, just kind of doing nothing but staring around. And it's like, okay, eventually, you're going to start looking at, because it's that thing where you're on your own, you're bored, you just start to look at things around the room. And
yeah, maybe he'd been rummaging at a few other things as well that we didn't see.
But he sees this compartment, this little sort of slate in the ceiling that he can open up, and he pulls out. At first I thought it was a newspaper because the way it was folded up, but then he opens it all out, and it's like a hand-drawn map that his dad's done of the caves near the nuclear plant. And there's lots of things labelled off, and obviously it was all in German, so I couldn't really make heads or tails of a lot of it. But the one thing it gave us subtitles for was a question. It said, "Where's the crossing?"
Yeah.
Which clearly indicates there is a specific location, or at least he thought there was a specific location where one crosses through time.
Yeah, that's what we speculated last episode. We were talking about how it didn't seem to be in the cave itself unless someone came through and took Mikkel.
Yeah.
But again, what we see with Mikkel here at the end kind of it doesn't look like he was taken on his part, like by a physical person.
Yeah, well, the thing is I wonder if his dad was just wrong. Like, he thinks that's what it is, but maybe it's actually more complicated than that, yeah. And with Mikkel, if we're jumping to that, the end of the episode, like, Mikkel, like you say, we see him sort of walk back out the cave, and it looks normal at first because it's just, it's the woods.
Yeah.
It looks the same. Give or take. That chair's probably not there that was there in the present day section, but other than that, it looks the same. But then he's walking through the street, and he's going to his house, and you notice the cars look a bit more old school. Okay, he's actually went to the past. Okay, right, we're actually doing this. We're doing that. Yeah. There's definitely time travel going on, and he goes up to the door, and I obviously the obvious thing is to have someone younger for who we know to open, and I wasn't sure if they were going to do that because obviously not everyone lives in the same house they did. Like.
Yeah, exactly.
Like his dad's now a married man with kids. It's not most people like that aren't living in the house they grew up in. Like, typically they've moved away or whatever. It's not unheard of either. Sometimes you take your parents' house. Like, the parents will go somewhere smaller. You'll take the big house because
exactly. You can kind of buy it either way.
Yeah, but both are normal things to happen. But yeah, it's just this, teenager opens the door, and it's young Ulrich, young Mads Mikkelsen, as I've been calling him. Although I need to stop that because his brother's name's Mads.
Yeah, I was going to say, we need to not mention that anymore because when they pointed that out, I was like, Mads and Mikkel. Yeah, okay.
Yeah. I almost wonder if it's intentional. Like, they hired the actor and they thought, for a joke, let's change the name of his son and his brother to be Mads and Mikkel.
Yeah, I can see it.
Yeah, just a little sense of humour in the writer's room once they'd cast him. Because maybe before it was like, oh, he's Jeremy and he's Johan, or there's already a Johan, but you know what I mean? Jonas, sorry, not Johan. But whatever. Yeah. The point being is that they changed it for a laugh. Yeah. Anyway, so we see him, and he's just like, who are you little shit? Like, isn't it your house? Go away.
Yeah, his key's not working.
Yeah, he's trying his key, yeah. And then, he's the teenager's girlfriend shows up, and it's Katharina, his wife, much younger. And of course, my first thought, obviously, first thing, okay, it's 1986. He sees the newspaper, so it's obviously like you can tell that he maybe wouldn't piece it together exactly what's happening. He's like, he's confused. He's a younger kid. Maybe he's not going to. Hell, even in real life, like, I don't know if I would jump to time travel. I'd be like, no, something's going on. This is a joke. So someone's playing a practical joke on me. You wouldn't believe you've time traveled right away. And if for a kid, especially, I can see the confusing. But the newspaper just spells it out. No, Chernobyl just happened recently. It's 1986.
Yeah. You see the headline, and then you go, okay, maybe the kid doesn't really get that.
Yeah, he doesn't know what Chernobyl was, maybe.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. But then he just looks up and sees the date, and it's like, no, okay, now he knows.
I almost wanted Power of Love from Back to the Future to kick in, just as he realised, just as a sort of joke song ending.
Yeah. That would be really tonally appropriate.
Okay, I admit it would be a bit out of place, but that's kind of where my head went. So we see, and his young mother, as I'll refer to her here, is kind of looking back at him, kind of like, huh, like she's getting a weird feeling. And it's funny, I brought Back to the Future there, but it's kind of almost that weird thing where in Back to the Future where she's like, I feel like I know you from somewhere. It's kind of weird, like that weird.
Yeah, it's like this deja vu, isn't it? Which
Yeah.
obviously was mentioned last episode.
Yeah, and I actually never brought that up in the last episode.
Yeah, where they talk about the glitch in the Matrix.
And I don't know why, but for some reason it felt really weird to hear another language refer to an English-speaking movie like that. It was just weird.
no,
Obviously, it happens. Everyone watches those movies all over the planet, but it was just weird.
Yeah, but it was I wasn't expecting it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, the other thing we didn't talk about last episode that I did want to bring up was the opening title sequence. It's really trippy with all the mirror imaging.
Yeah. It's pretty cool.
And I especially, and this is weird, and it normally would annoy me, but given what the show's about, I actually really like this. I like how the title at the end is in a really weird place. It's not in the centre. It's not in the bottom corner or anything like that. It's just this really weird space over to the side.
It's just off, isn't it?
Just off, yeah. Also, because everything's symmetrical, the entire opening titles, and then the ending, it kind of shifts almost like it's repeating, because you see the seam of where it started again at the other side of the screen.
Yeah.
It's like the symmetrical points moved over, but then you see where the next one would start over to the other side.
Yeah. I get what you're saying.
Like it's a film roll almost, but yeah. So what I was gonna say is, so going forward though, I'm actually really kind of fascinated with how this plays with things. Like, do present day Ulrich and Katharina start to like remember things?
Yeah, and alternatively, well, that depends on which way they're playing the time travel rules. Did this always happen? Which is probably where I'd lean towards at the moment, based on, like, okay, we had the letter. He knew things were going to happen on this night. It sounds to me like, okay, these things have always happened, and now they're just kind of fulfilling the destiny sort of role of time travel.
Yeah. I think there's not enough yet to actually definitively say which way they're going.
Not definitively, but so far the little bits that we have lean towards that, for me at least.
Yeah, I think the idea that we've got this third party like snatching people and doing things implies to me maybe it's not always destiny, but like I say, it's until we have more information and more events to kind of like place it. I'm not really sure what way to go on it. But
that's it. If we ever get a bit where they're going, oh, I remember this, and it seems like a new memory, then yeah.
Or alternatively, there's a new timeline now because this has happened. Like now there's a tangent.
Could be.
That's also a way they could go. I don't see that one's less likely. I think.
I don't see that one just because of the way that it has to affect the present.
Yeah, it feels less likely, admittedly, but it's an option. It's another typical kind of time travel option you can take. But no, I loved the ending. The ending was great. It was. I loved because that's still a big thing. Is that it kind of showed us that he wasn't taken, at least not seemingly. Like he's
at least not physically. They might have been like, taken him to this time.
Yeah, sure.
Like they might have done that.
But it's not like someone had him by the throat or like he had a captor or anything like that. He was just on his own wandering out the cave, and it makes me wonder. Like, let's say there is a crossing in the cave, but what if over time with this? Because what if it was always kind of there? There was a natural occurrence, right? But the nuclear power plant like done something to it. Like it caused like a rift, and over the 33 years, it's been getting bigger, and that's why it can happen so far from the cave now.
Right, and of course that's the other thing we're saying. Oh, if he was taken, he could have been taken by someone, just not physically, or was it just an accident? Did he just stumble through the crossing? Did he happen to walk through the right point?
That's what it feels like mostly. I think
it did feel like that. Yeah.
So. But no, it's interesting. Like, is this a mistake? Like, did the captor who's been taking kids not want him, or maybe he wanted him but didn't get him? But like, is he now like something he didn't anticipate being around in the 80s?
I really like the idea of the reason we have bodies showing up in the present from the 80s is just that the captor knew about this and he was just using it as a way to dump the bodies so they wouldn't be found. It's like, I'll just send them to the future. No one's gonna find them now. Not my problem.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe. I like the because obviously we see him dumping Eric. Eric he does another test on him. He's in the chair again, and then we see him being dragged through the woods, all burned.
Yeah.
Later on in the episode, so we know that Eric's kind of in that place now as well. They did well, they didn't confirm it, but it seems even less likely that this kid they found is Ulrich's brother, because there was no kind of, at least he never came in and like talked about him or anything like that. It was
Yeah, and there was nothing to imply that was just holding this back.
yeah, because obviously we had the autopsy scene. It was very interesting. We saw that the bad guy, whoever he is, puts the old German coin, pre euro, so it's like an old, I don't know what we'd call the
It's
coin.
like that. Yeah.
Whatever the penny was in the Deutschmark or whatever.
Yeah, exactly.
So he puts that around their neck before they go into the machine. And this kid had that as well. Eric had one as well. So we see that because they mention there's red dirt on him, but there's no red dirt in that area and things like that.
I'm wondering what the symbolism of the penny is. Is it just because obviously it's dated 86? Is this a way of like going, no, this is a timestamp?
Yeah, if him identifying who he's left where or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it may be like what. Yeah, I mean, what if in a weird way, like because we don't know, we know so little about the motivations of the person doing this, right? I mean, I called him the bad guy. I can almost see the twist being at the end that he's not actually a bad guy. Like what he's doing is he's intentional making it so they can piece it together or something like that.
Could be. Yeah, we have no idea.
Which still could be for bad reasons. Don't get me wrong. He could be brought in to play them and play games and manipulate them and.
Yeah.
Whatever else. Obviously, they didn't confirm that he's from the 80s. I mean, they point out he's wearing 80s clothes, he's got like an 80s Walkman on him, but right now they're just thinking someone's dressed him that way. Like, this is a
logical assumption on their part.
Oh, of course, you wouldn't jump to time travel. I think, obviously, the fact that they mentioned we're going to look into missing persons, eventually, when did they say, let's look at missing persons from the 80s? Like, because right now they've got no reason to, because they wouldn't think the kid would be born then. So again, I buy that it takes some time before they even try that.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. But like at least right now, I'm excited for them to sort of realise that, and where does that come into it? And it makes me wonder though, was Eric dumped in present day, or was Eric dumped somewhere else?
Yeah, it's fascinating, and I can't wait to see how the past stuff impacts the present. Like Ulrich meeting his son, in the past.
Yeah.
Does he have a moment now where when it gets to realizing this was time travel? Does he go, oh, that was my kid. I that was potentially like my last moment with him and my first moment with him.
Yeah, especially if that's the only time he interacts with him in the past. We don't know if he, but maybe we'll see a lot of him next episode for all we know. But if that's the only time he sees him in the past, I'll buy that he forgot it. I'll buy that it didn't mean anything to him. It was one weird kid one day was at your door. Like
yeah, but you might remember it now, and once this jogs your memory as a possibility, you'll be like, hang on a second.
Little touch I liked. The slapping the back of the head. Apparently, Magnus gets that from his mother because she does that to Ulrich in this scene.
Yeah.
She smacks him in the back of the head. I thought it was a nice little touch. Really nice little touch. Also, big stuff's going down. Just to stick with the time travel stuff for now before we get to the little character beats. Towards the end of the episode, whilst Eric's been brought back, assuming he's coming back to this time period, all the lights in the town start to flicker, go on and off. And then Charlotte...
And we know that as well, on top of that we were having problems with power in Jonas's house.
Yeah, you're right, yeah. And then Charlotte comes out of the police station and there's just dead birds everywhere. Like all the birds, which implies magnetic fields of some kind, because birds use magnetics to... Well, that's what the assumption I'm making anyway, as we're going with... which ties into power and everything else. So I feel like... Yeah.
No, I agree with that.
Especially since time travel to me should always be something that feels electrical. I know that sounds a little bit silly, but the idea of the mad scientist flipping the switch and all the sparks and like I feel like the hum of a generator is what I associate with like with time travel.
I don't agree with that, but fine.
Oh, why do you disagree with it?
Well, I mean that's just a personal thing. Like for me, that's not. I don't have that same association at all, but sure.
It's not an association per se. It's just more. I don't know. I feel like most interpretations of time travel typically, unless you're doing something with a black hole, that's when it's different. But most interpretation of time travel, where there's a machine or something like that involved, I feel like electrical is kind of something that, flux capacitor and Back to the Future, or other TV shows we might have watched recently that I don't want to spoil.
I think my problem is, one of my earliest interactions with time travel and main things was Doctor Who. And yeah, there's a noise, but it's not electrical in the same way at all.
But Doctor Who's like so wish.
No,
like...
I know, but that was my first, that's where it was really established for me as a kid. So I don't have this.
I'll rephrase this. When time travel is difficult, I associate a great use of power. And arguably the TARDIS actually needs a lot of power to do what it does. But they never explain it, because Doctor Who's not really... Like, Doctor Who's just magic. It's like, yeah, it's science fiction, but they don't explain it ever. It's just, it can do it. It's fine.
We've had bits here or there over the years, but...
Yeah. But, so the point I'm making is just kind of something I associate with it. Even something as simple as primer. Like, I associate a hum with this stuff happening. I don't know. What are weird tangents? I didn't think I wasn't expecting to go on much of a tangent on that. You for some reason you fought me on it, so I had.
Fighting. I was just saying like, oh no, you have your association, but I don't necessarily get it. I've never had that.
Where was it going?
I don't know. You're talking about the dead birds.
Dead birds. So yeah, stuff's going down. Like, so whatever's happening, it feels like something big. And I'm going back to what I said last time about how the plant going there, now the plant's going to like shut down. I feel like there's maybe like a loop or a window where you can travel in. Like, I don't think you can just go back to like 1887. I don't think you can just go forward to 2075
the dates
or whatever.
Are too specific, aren't they?
Yeah, I feel like it's either end of that spectrum you can travel through, or just within it.
Within it seems plausible to me.
Yeah,
but definitely not any earlier. I think the earliest I could buy is maybe there has to actually, we were told, this is the longest a power plant's gone without any sort of incident. But we're like, nah, yeah, sure it has. I wonder if it has to be like there's an incident, so they could go back to the the Chernobyl incident. Like, you can go back to that, for example. Like, there has to be a point, and there's a little a window around an incident that you can travel to, rather than just it being active.
Right. But not specifically Chernobyl, though.
No. I'm just saying that was in the newspaper. But like here, if in the present day in 2019 we've got there's going to be an incident coming up, rather than it just closing.
Oh right, okay, yeah.
There's going to be an incident, and it has this kind of time distortion around the incident, which is the points that you can travel to and from.
No, I see it. Yeah, it's not just that it existed, that there was an incident when they built it, and that's what sort of opened the gateway, and then there's only be one coming up, which I could see being like a big finale thing, like maybe towards the end of this season where you see like what's actually going to happen with the plant. That said, that everything we're saying sounds very finite in the sense that what is season 2 if we get renewed? I don't want to discuss that much now, but just in the sense that there has to be a little more open things to do.
It does.
Beyond this point.
Wait and see where we are at the end of the season before we worry about that.
We'll speculate that after we discuss the finale a couple of weeks' time. So there you go, all that stuff. So all the time travel, sci-fi, mystery, digging all of it.
Absolutely.
Sticking with the mystery, you have... I don't even think we met him last episode, but we have the husband, Ulrich's father, living with his mother. So the grandparents, essentially, of Mikkel. And we see it in this episode. He's actually acting a little bit strange. He had a little bit of blood in one of his cardigans, which he's hiding from his wife, and he's leaving in the middle of the night to go and do something, and he's lying about it to her.
Yes, specifically about the night where where the disappearance happened.
Yeah, specifically about that night.
And we know it was his son that went missing before. It's like, okay, is there some connection?
Yeah. I almost feel it's too early to just jump to he's the one doing it. Like, it feels too easy.
Yeah. I think it does as well. I don't think it's that, but I think there might be a connection. Maybe he's trying to fight it.
Yeah, maybe. Maybe he's trying to look for him in a way that the police and all the search parties wouldn't do.
Yeah,
like, something
maybe
specific.
Maybe he actually knows what happened to Mikkel. Maybe Mikkel goes and sees him in the past at some point, and he knows about the time travel.
Maybe, yeah.
And he's trying to fight it from the future.
That's interesting. Which makes me wonder about that letter that was it Mikkel, Jonas' father?
Yeah.
It makes me wonder about that letter. Like, does he have that letter because someone told him something when he was younger?
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm wondering.
Yeah. And it's only when he got to this age where it was kind of proven to be true. Like, maybe his whole life he didn't believe it, but then he got to like the present day, essentially, where whatever the message was about confirmed that this was not bullshit.
Yeah, and
So
it
he
was
had
like,
to-
no, this is how this needs to go down.
Yeah, or something like that.
Which would be a thing that would play into the the fixed destiny time
Yeah.
travel.
Yeah. Um, yeah. That's it. I don't feel like... I mean, Destiny... I don't like that word for it.
Okay.
I agree with what you're saying. I just don't like... Because that implies fate, and it implies predetermination, whereas this is more mathematical determination. Does that make sense?
It's predetermination depending on when you are.
What I'm saying is, like, Destiny implies spirituality, where I'm saying no,
okay,
it's
fine.
cold hard science. It's just no. 2 + 2 must equal 4. It's just a fact. It's not about
Sure.
fate.
Yeah,
right?
I'm not
Okay.
disputing that. When I'm saying destiny, I just mean it has to happen because it has happened.
Yeah, but no, Destiny's like
I get you. I get you.
just to me, there's a difference.
I appreciate the difference.
Yeah.
I do. I do.
So other character stuff going through. Everyone's upset.
As
Regina,
they well should.
Regina, of course, tries to... Not Regina, sorry. Hannah, Jonas's mother, who's having an affair with Ulrich. Obviously, that's not exactly hot and heavy right now. She tries to reach out to him because she's concerned, but he's like, no, we're not doing this now. He is
No.
driven
Yeah.
the entire episode to try and find his son. He's searching in the caves. He finds a door to like a sub-level of the nuclear power plant in the caves, and he's determined to get in there. He's asking for warrants, which they're going to try and get. But he actually just drives straight there and tries to get in. And we actually never talked about this guy from the first episode because he was in the first episode briefly with Hannah. Actually, Hannah's a masseuse, and she was there at the plant. It's just like the CEO or the manager, whatever his position is at this plant. But he refuses to let him in. He's like, no. If he was, we've got employees like searching all these areas all the time. We have daily patrols. If he was here, we'd know about it. And we also find out that Eric's dad also works there in this episode. He works there. He's like a I don't know what he does, but he works there. And Ulrich is kind of suspicious of him. Later on, he's kind of looking in, because he was already kind of suspecting him last episode, but now he's like looking into the tire tracks and he's looking at the red dirt, and he thinks, and he goes out there and it's like, it's pissing or rain, and do you know what? It was raining so heavily for so long in this episode that I was starting to wonder if that had something to do with like what was going on. Like, that was like the first sign that something was about to happen. You had the rain, then you had the lights, then you had the birds. Like, I was just wondering if it was all.
No, it could be.
Because it was raining like as soon as it
Kind
started.
of got to wait and see if there's a pattern for that one.
Yeah. But it was raining all day, and he goes out to the trailer where he lives. He lives at a sort of junkyard seemingly, and he finds like a jar of pennies, which is like, okay, right, interesting. Too early to give us such an easy clue, but interesting. And eventually we see that he's hiding the fact that he dealt drugs with his son, which is a weird father-son bonding exercise.
It is strange, but hey,
But
whatever
whatever.
works for you.
And it seemingly kind of throws Ulrich off the trail of him. He's like, okay, right, this doesn't seem like it's the right path to be on, and he goes back home. And
I was going to say on the guy from the nuclear power plant. You mentioned how they're going to get a warrant, or they're going to try. He seems to be pretty aware that they are going to get a warrant. It'd be like, yeah, okay, they're coming tonight. We've got to just keep them out as much as possible.
The question is that just because he understands the system and he knows they're coming, or is it because he just knows they're coming because of time
That's
travel?
it. The thing is, he
knowledge?
knows that before that any characters mention the door to him. So he's already aware that they're going to... Either he's aware of the door and they're going to find the door, so of course they're going to do this. Or like you say, is it a time travel? Is it he knows this is when things happen because this is how things have already happened?
Yeah, or just as simple as he's got a message from someone who does know something. Like, he's got a source that is involved in time travel. I think right now they've played it perfectly down the middle where you can explain it either way.
Which they've done with a lot of things for the characters, where it's like,
Yeah.
okay, I could take this in any of 2 or 3 ways, and it's plausible in any direction at this point.
Yeah. Going back to Ulrich's family, we see like that Martha's not, the daughter, not dealing very well. She's sort of asking her mother, like, this happened to Dad's brother, like he was never found, and you kind of feel like Katharina's just like, he'll be back, definitely. But you can kind of feel like she's just saying that. She's almost trying to convince herself as much as she's trying to convince her daughter to not be depressed. Whereas Magnus, he's confronting the girl that he likes in the woods, like thinking, "Oh, why were you there? You were being suspicious. Like, what's going on?" And it's not like he really believes that she had something to do with it. It's just he's just grasping at anything he can.
Yeah, it's just easy, isn't it?
Yeah, and he ends up punching the wall to shit, and these knuckles are all bloody. He's having trouble, and I think. Obviously we joked about the hitting him in the head all last episode, but it's kind of, I feel like in times like this is where he's kind of like, maybe I shouldn't have hit him in the head so much now that he's gone.
Yeah.
Kind of a weird guilt. Like I should have been being more of a big brother and protecting him rather than kind of the way I treated him, because I feel like it's kind of that typical guilt. And then you see Katharina as well. She's also very, she's standing out in the rain, just feeling miserable, and she's begging Ulrich to be honest with her about everything. Which I think in that context, she just means the search for her, because obviously he's a police officer. He's actually looking into it. It's like, no, don't.
Yeah. Like, don't if you find bad news, don't keep it away from me.
Because obviously, I imagine normally he keeps a lot of his work away from the home life. Just he doesn't talk about cases and things like that. Partly because you're not supposed to, but partly just because I don't want to bring up this dead body at dinner.
Yeah. And also just be like the idea of, I don't want you to feel like you're protecting me. Don't don't give me false hope. If you find something, I need to know.
Which kind of works as well, because that's kind of what she did with her daughter just earlier on in the episode. She did the exact same thing, and she's like, I don't want to be the one being lied to like this. Like,
yeah.
I'm your equal. I'm also one of the parents. You tell me everything. God damn it. So that very much felt like that with me. Small interesting reaction. I thought early on in the episode, it cut to Peter at one point, who's a psychiatrist who's married to Charlotte, the policewoman. He was crying very heavily in his car. Like, he seemed really affected by Mikkel's disappearance.
He did, yeah. And I don't know, because obviously we know he was, talking to Jonas. He was being his psychiatrist, and obviously they're all kind of friends. All these families. Does he know more than he's letting on? Like the letter about future events. Is he aware of that? Yeah.
Did the letter actually say it was going to happen? Does the
letter? And he didn't believe it. He disregarded it.
Yeah, because maybe the reason why he's Jonas is his patient is because his dad already knew him. His dad was his patient first.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
And maybe his dad spoke to him and said, "Look, this is going to happen." He didn't believe him, and then he killed himself. And then now it's like, okay, no, this happened. He was telling the truth. I didn't believe him.
Yeah, he didn't believe him, and he probably. He probably, as a therapist, tried to no, this is a delusion. You're thinking of these things, and you have to get over this. When in actual fact, every single word of it was true. Exactly. Potentially, assuming that's what happened. We're just kind of speculating.
We're making assumptions, but it works for now until I know more.
Yeah, but no, I just thought that was an interesting little tidbit. Various other things. Bartos keeps trying to phone Martha. Martha's not picking up. He's still got the drugs from Eric, and he's looking in. There's a phone in there that he presumably used to, distribute the drugs. But there's a passcode on it that he gets wrong, so he leaves it so he doesn't get locked out. Not a whole lot to say there. Just it's kind of like everyone's kind of doing something. Everyone's like, depressed or in a really bad place for various reasons. But no, I have to say it was a very scattershot episode because there was so many different things we're cutting around to. But I did enjoy it a lot. I felt like the tone was consistent. The mystery's getting... Like, I think the introduction of the stranger was like, okay, there's people who know some things. And
yeah, definitely. I think the scattershot works at the moment, at least. And the stranger is the exception, but everyone else is thematically connected through, Mikkel, like the grief. Whereas the stranger, he's connected. He's there because of the disappearance, but he's not grieving in the same way the others are.
Yeah, he's different, but yeah. So I'm really curious to see where we go from here. Yeah. I'm excited to watch episode 3. So far so good, and I think because obviously spent a lot of time introducing the characters last episode. I think here we felt the benefit of it because I don't think you could have cut around them all reacting in different ways like this had we not.
You can't. And ultimately, I enjoyed this more than the first episode because, like I said, in the first episode, I was trying to just play catch up as to who was who. Whereas here, by the end of that episode, I was pretty confident. So now it's like, okay, I know who these are. I don't have to do that. I just enjoy what the story is, or in this case, the character reactions.
Yeah. So no,
I have a question for you.
Oh, go
I
on.
mentioned a specific musical idea that recurs a lot, and I said, and you said you might notice it now. Did you?
I did notice it. Yes.
Yeah, yeah.
Was it as frequent in this one as last one? It didn't feel
It
like it
was. It
was.
wasn't as
Yeah.
frequent, no.
Yeah.
But I did kind of groan to myself when it was the very first thing you hear. It's like it's what opens the episode. I was like, oh no, more of this. There was still a reasonable amount of it, but not as much as the first episode.
Yeah. No, that's right. I noticed it primarily in the scene with the plant manager with Eric's dad. It was kind of because I think the Eric
Yeah,
stood out more to me because it felt a bit more intrusive than it maybe typically is.
yeah, yeah. I noticed as well. What it's doing is to hide itself. It's just changing the pitch. Sometimes it'll be a really high pitch sound doing it, and other times it'll be a really low pitch sound doing it to try and pretend it's doing something different. But it's not getting away with it. It's not sneaking past me.
Okay. But that is episode 2. So, no, still solid stuff. I'm looking forward to the rest. So let us know what you thought of episode 2 in the comments and stuff below. Like, subscribe, all that stuff. Get us on the Twitters at mild_fuzz for channel updates. If you want to support the channel and everything we do here, head over to patreon.com/mildfuzztv. You can do that. Links in the description and in the corner of the video. But otherwise, that is us. So thank you once again for watching. Keep watching TV. We'll see you next time. Have you got any vanilla?